Okay, for the next step, we're gonna draw the little village that happens in the right corner of Starry Night. So to do this, you can pick any color you want. Van Gogh used kind of these same darkish colors. So I'm gonna go with things like, I don't know, purple, maybe a dark green. And you can make your village as simple as you like or as complicated as you like. So I would start with just basic shapes. I would start with rectangles for your different buildings. So draw a couple of rectangles. I would then give them a roof with a triangle. And you can leave them like this. You're just gonna color them in without coloring in the whole thing. You're just gonna use the same technique as up here and do little lines to color them in. Now, if you wanna make them look a little bit more complicated, if you wanna add more steps, you could draw them like this. Start with your rectangle, add your roof, and then if you make a diagonal line, 3 diagonal lines, one from the bottom corner, one from the middle corner, and one from the top. So bottom of the rectangle, top of the rectangle, and top of the triangle. If you make 3 diagonal lines and then you connect them, straight line and a diagonal line, it makes it look like a 3D house. So it has a front and a side wall, and a front of the roof and a side of the roof. And then you can add doors if you want. You can add windows. You can really do whatever you like to this little village. Let me show you again. So you make a rectangle, you put a triangle on top, you do 3 diagonal lines, and you connect them. And you get a little 3D looking house. Okay, when you're done with your village, and you can add as many buildings as you want, but remember you're not coloring them in, you're just doing lines and dashes, then you're gonna do the grass in the background. So you wanna get like a dark green, or a couple different shades of green. And you wanna do the same thing that you did to the sky up here. So you wanna do little dashes. And you wanna do this all the way across. When you get to a house, you're gonna just carefully go around it, not through it. And again, you can use, you can use different shades of green if you want. Okay, so you're gonna keep going with your grass all the way across. And then the next step that you're gonna do is you're gonna find a white crayon. Now, and I'll continue doing this in just a moment. Now, with your white crayon, yes, you are drawing with white on white paper. You're not gonna see it now, but you'll see it later when we watercolor. So you're gonna take your white crayon and you're gonna make little dashes around the stars and those swirl lines, anywhere where there was kind of light. So all the yellow, you can add white to, and you will not see anything happening now, but when we paint, those white lines will pop out, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with my grass. And then I'm gonna take my green crayon and I'm gonna kind of outline where we used blue for the border for the hills at the very, very beginning. I just went right over it with green. The last step with the crayons, I'm gonna take a black crayon and I'm gonna outline some of the lines in the village. So I'm not coloring it in, but I'm just adding a little bit more detail with black to all these little houses. And you don't have to go over all of them. You can just do like, add a little bit. Okay, so once you're at this phase, there's only one more step. You're gonna grab your watercolors and we're gonna just do a wash of watercolors. So we're not really gonna paint with a ton of paint. It's just more of a wash. So you wanna get a lot of water on your brush. And we're gonna start with the sky. And for the sky, we're gonna use a blue or a dark blue or a navy. And you're literally just going to wash it right over your crayon. And your crayon is going to resist. And all those little lines that you did are gonna pop right through even the white crayon. Be careful when you get to the tree. And if your paper gets really wet, like how mine is, it might start to curl a little, but that's okay. You can just tape it down, or you can flatten it out, you know, with your hands. So I'm using dark blue for the whole sky. I'm even painting right over my stars, but the yellow is popping through. And so is all of the blue and the white. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the bottom for the grass with black or like a dark, dark green. Most watercolor palettes don't come with a dark green. Mine comes with like a dark brown, so I'm gonna use that instead of black. And you're just gonna go right over all the houses and all the things with your dark color. It could be a brown, it could be a green, it could be black. I'm using brown, it's coming out really cool. And you want to try to stay close to or under your line that you drew so that there's a distinction between the sky and the grass. And you don't want to forget about this little section of grass over here, all the way on the corner, this little tiny portion. Okay, then our tree. So you can either, I put too much paint there, that's okay. If you do a little bit too much paint, you can just wipe it off. I used my hand, probably be better if I used a paper towel. And you'll see your crayon marks. But that's why we want to remember to do a wash of color. But that's okay, we fixed it. Okay, and then for your tree, you're gonna actually mix together both of these colors. So you're gonna start with the blue, that you used for the sky. Start with the blue. And then you're gonna layer on top a little bit of the brown or black or green that you used for the land, just a little bit. And you wanna keep it really wet so that those two colors kind of mush together. See how? And there you go. Now remember, with watercolors, it's very easy to blend. If you ever feel like your paper is getting a little bit too wet, you just take a little rag or a paper towel and give it a little blot, and you can pick up some of that extra moisture. And there is your version of Starry Night. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Send me a picture of your artwork.